What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today we are previewing the New York Jets against the Denver Broncos Week 6 London game. I got good news and bad news. The good news is the Jets game will be over by about noon, so you can either A, enjoy the rest of your Sunday and do something completely different from football, or B, what I'll be doing, sit in front of my TV for the next, 8 hours just watching Red Zone until my eyeballs bleed and hopefully seeing some good football. That's the positive spin. The negative spin is it's a standalone game, so everyone's going to be watching the New York Jets, which I don't like a lot of eyeballs on this team because they aren't very good, unfortunately. It's the 0-5 Jets against the 3-2 Denver Broncos. Denver, 18th in points scored this year, second in points allowed, while the Jets are 19th in points scored and 31st in points allowed. The Broncos are coming off a big win. Honestly, shout out to them. Did not think they would win this game. They had an upset win on the road against the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Their defense has been really impressive to me. They held Philadelphia to 17 points. And I know Philly's offense hasn't really been clicking a ton despite them winning, but they ran into a really good defense, and Denver did enough to win the game. Again, really impressive win for the Broncos, who, with the Chiefs struggling, they're in first place or tied for first in the AFC West. So how did they do this is the big question. And we'll get to the offensive side of the ball. They're okay offensively, but their defense is really freaking good. And they have an absolutely nasty defensive line. They play a 3-4, so their edges are outside linebackers, but you have Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper on the edge with Zach Allen, DJ Jones, and old buddy John Franklin Myers as the down defensive lineman. They are just such a really good unit, and it's disappointing in a way, especially because the reminder with JFM, to see a really good dominant defensive line and look at what the Jets had a couple of years ago to what they have now, and it's a night and day difference. They lead the NFL in sacks by honestly a very healthy margin. They have 21 sacks. The next closest in second place is Detroit with 16 sacks. So they have 5 more sacks than any other team in the NFL. They're going to get after the quarterback. And with how a mix of the offensive line played and how the quarterback tends to hold on to the ball for a long time, I would expect there to be a lot of sacks in this game against Justin Fields and the Jets offense. It's not just the defensive line, though. They have the best quarterback in the NFL, Pat Surtain. Definition of lockdown corner, really good. They're going to try to take Garrett Wilson out of the game. And can you blame him? The Jets don't really have anything else at wide receiver. So if they put their best defensive player in Pat Surtain and the best corner in the NFL against Garrett Wilson, they're going to do their best to take him out of the game. If I'm Denver, that's what I would be doing. We'll see. I'm very curious to see what the production looks like for Garrett Wilson in this game because they've been feeding him heavy. The target share has been very high despite him having a ton of attention. But again, Surtain's on another level. So I'm just curious to see what kind of production we see from him in this game. As I mentioned, the Broncos offensively have been so-so. They have an okay passing game. Bo Nix is up and down. He's been okay. I don't want to make it sound like Bo Nix is absolutely atrocious. He's not. If you watch the Broncos games, though, it feels like every week he misses a big throw for a touchdown. He does not have a very good deep ball. He's more of an underneath quarterback, which, I mean, if you have a defense like Denver does and you have a run game like Denver does, we'll talk about in a second, you don't need to have a top half of the league quarterback. Bo Nix is probably, the 20th best quarterback in the NFL. And it's enough for them to win games because of how good their defense is and how good they run the ball. I mean, they are 8th in rushing attempts, 4th in rushing yards, and they're averaging 5 yards per carry, which is 5th in the NFL. J.K. Dobbins is a new addition to that team this year, and he's been playing, honestly, really solid. And he's going to be in my sleeper player picks segment. I am definitely in on J.K. Dobbins this week. So here are my 3 sleeper picks. I'll get into my stat predictions after that. I have Mason Taylor more than 3.5 receptions. He's been targeted a lot the last 2 weeks, and with Garrett Wilson going up against Pat Surtain, I think Mason Taylor's going to have like 5 or 6 catches in this game. J.K. Dobbins, I have a 60 plus rushing yards. He's done that in every single game that he's played so far this year. And the Jets are prone to giving up a big play. So he might get that on one rush. Would not shock me if Dobbins is close to around 100 rushing yards in this game. I also have Troy Franklin, more than 38.5 receiving yards. Again, just prone to a big play. Franklin's done that a few times already this year. There was one game where he was single-digit receiving yards, just not really all that productive. But wouldn't shock me if he ends up having, 65 receiving yards and maybe gets in the end zone. With Sleeper, all you have to do is pick more or less from the predicted stats, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money if your picks win. Use promo code O'Leary, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. New offer, there's a free $20 no deposit required promo. Terms and conditions apply. Sign up using my code O'Leary. As for the rest of my stat predictions, Justin Fields, I think he's probably going to be like 20 of 30 passing. He threw a lot more this past week. I think he throws 30 passing attempts is a decent amount for him. I just think the Jets are going to be down in this game, and he's going to have to throw a little bit. I think he's just under 200 passing yards. I have him at $197. 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and a fumbled lost. I just think that pass rush is going to get after him, and he's had some fumbling issues this year. That would equate to a 96.1 passer rating. Bo Nix, 22 of 36, 224 yards-ish, somewhere in that range. 2 touchdowns, no picks, a 97.5 rating. And I talked about Mason Taylor before. I have him over 3.5 receptions. I have him something like 5 catches, 52 yards, and I do think he gets in the end zone this week with all the attention going Garrett Wilson's way. I think Mason Taylor has his first NFL touchdown. All right, let's get into my score prediction and pick against the spread. I've been great against the spread for the New York Jets. I'm 4-1 against the spread, but straight up, maybe not as impressive, 3-2. So the Jets are 7-point underdogs on the road in London. I personally hate this matchup for the Jets. I don't think they have much of a chance. There's been other games this year they haven't won, but I thought they would have had a chance against the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 1, and they did. They probably should have won that game. Miami, I thought they would have a chance to win, and we all know what happened after the fumble. This is one of those games similar to Buffalo in week 2. I don't like their chances at all. I just think it's a bad matchup. It's a really good defense that gets after the quarterback. They're going to take Garrett Wilson out of the game. And I think I just have zero faith in the Jets defense until they prove it. So I have this a 30-16 Broncos win. I don't think the offense has as productive a day. And I know a lot of their production has come in garbage time with how strong the Broncos defense is. I think they hold the Jets under 20 points. And until proven otherwise, why am I going to predict the Jets opponent to score anything less than 30 points? So 30-16 Broncos win, Broncos cover, unfortunately. So there you go. Those are my predictions. Let me know what you think is going to happen in this game down below in the comments. I'm Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you next time.